Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Monday Business Bites. Little bite size something to get your week started every Monday, 7 o'clock Pacific. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the beneficial brag. Why is this important? Hi. Why is this important? The beneficial brag. Let me tell you why. How many times do you really want to share that you know what the hell you're talking about? And something comes up in you that's like, shh, and it tamps it down, right? Somebody has somewhere along your life path, my friend, has told you and shook their finger in your face and said, no, 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 you don't tell how good you are. You don't do that. I'm here to tell you that you deserve to share how amazing you are. Your clients need to hear that you know what you're talking about. Whoa. Oh, I'm sorry, Instagram people. My phone just fell over here. Your clients deserve to know everything that amazing about what you're able to do. So, it's like when I was putting this together, it was so funny because I had this flashback of this memory that I had completely forgotten, but it reaffirmed my whole childhood existence and how my whole life I was really told, not to talk about what I'm good at. So I was married to John. So it was about when I was about 39. I want to say like 39. So hear this. I'm 39. My mother and stepfather came over to my house and I prepared a roast beef dinner. So we're sitting at the table. We're sitting at the dining room table in this really cute house. It was painted butter yellow on the outside, and we had redone the kitchen ourselves. Never do that with your spouse. That's a nightmare. And I had this incredibly gorgeous red, soft red toile wallpaper below the chair row. It was an old cottage. It was delightful. And I had this beautiful antique table that I got somewhere at some like junk or sale, and it was painted. And oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let's fix this. It was painted. It was beautiful. It was lovely. I loved it. And what happened was I was sitting there and I said, oh my God, this roast beef turned out pretty good. And my stepfather looked at me from eating, and those of you who are listening, you can't see, but I'm pretending I'm eating like with, glee and joy. And that's what he was doing. And he looked up at me over the top of his fork. And that look brought me back to a million times growing up with that same look. And then he looked at me with such disgust and shook his head. And he's like, oh, you're pretty full of yourself, aren't you? It was a fucking roast beef sandwich. It was roast beef dinner. It's roast beef dinner, people. I was 39 in my own home with my family, my child, and my husband. How many of those times do you have? How many of those times have you had growing up? My heart bleeds for you. It bleeds for that 39-year-old woman and all the iterations of my former child self that had to deal with that person, that abuse, that level of abuse. And so today, as a business consultant, supporting women stepping into our power, into our knowing, into the, we know what the hell we're talking about. You have a roast beef dinner story as well. I completely know how you feel. I have all these stories. I'll share another day too. Writing this, this whole thing today really brought it all up for me. So I want you to think back. This is back to you and your authority building, and you're knowing that you know, and stepping into your power, stepping into your self-respect, owning your confidence around your wealth of knowledge and experience so that you can, number one, thank you for sharing. Yes, thank you so much. Number one, you deserve to be in full and complete ownership, awareness, gratitude, pride about what you've accomplished. If you're not feeling that about your offer, about your business, about your parenting, about your role as a wife, like all of these things, if you're not feeling confident about it, you can't grow. You can't evolve. Our first thing that we have to do is we have to acknowledge our wealth of knowledge and what we're really great at. And I want you today, here's going to be your bold action step. I'm going to throw it in here early because I want to plant this seed. I want you today to find a confidant, a good friend, reach out to me, share it here, right? Reach out and share it right here. If you're live listening to this, share what are you really proud of? What are you really good at? What are you really accomplished at? Because see, you deserve to be aware of this all the time. And your clients want to know this. So how do you beneficial brag? So I call it beneficial brag because it benefits not just you, but your clients, right? So what would that look like? So we can weave in our authority without being a snot hole, right? We can do that without sounding like bodacious, right? Like we're boasting. And boasting has that negative connotation, as does bragging. Right? So how do we weave in our authority building in a way that you can feel really solid about, and not that you're like, I know more than you, but from a place of conveying, dear client, dear potential client, dear self, yourself. Look at what we're good at. So here, let me give you some examples. Number one would be, of course, we have our bio. So do you, on your website, on your about page, in your signature line, do you know how to write an effective bio that conveys that you have some authority, that you know what you're talking about? If you don't, pop me an email, mary@marybicknell.com. I'll send you a template for that. No problem. Or join the latest workshop that's coming up. So whether you're listening to this live or not, join our Facebook group, marybicknell.com/Facebook group. And these are things that you'll find video training in there. But anyhow, so how do you do that? So number one is we want to think about, like, what is our history? Where have we spoken? Where are we written? Maybe you don't have any of that yet. What's a testimonial for a client? What's some of your education? What's some of your experience? So here's a couple ways. Ready? Number one, it could be as simple as like, hi, I'm Mary Bicknell. I am a business consultant and strategist for female-owned businesses who are ready to catapult their businesses by shedding all their psychological BS. And I've been working online for over 8 years. Before that, I was a former psychotherapist. I worked at Hopkins. I've had my own private practice, da, 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 da. So you can see I've kind of woven in there my elevator pitch, sharing who I am, who I help, and what's the outcome, okay? So if I'm telling stories too, here's another way, right? It's telling stories. Like, what worked for me is, what I found really helpful for myself is, one of the things I do with clients is, somebody wrote in here to do some inner child work, right? I definitely do that with clients. So one of the things that I do to help women overcome and take ownership of their wealth of knowledge and feel very confident is doing what we call inner child work or parts work or something like that. So I would share that. For me, I like helping a woman tap into her evolved self. Listen to her. She knows, right? She knows. So these are ways that you can do this. Of course, if you've written an article for your local newspaper, here's an example. Yesterday actually, I wrote down, because I'm updating my website, all the places I've spoken, all the podcasts I've been on, all the media exposure I've had. So these are some of the things that you could say. One of the podcasts that I was on recently or the other day I was interviewed by Sally Jane Smith on her podcast, or in her Facebook group, or for her summit, or something like that. Or you could even say, one of the projects I'm really excited working on is I'm writing a book. I'm finally putting together all of my methods to help my clients overcome whatever it is that you do, my friend. Right? Overcome that last 10 pounds of the baby fat. She's in menopause. How to finally date over 40. Empty nest syndrome. How to build a business. Like, these are simple ways that you're showing your authority from a place of your desire, your passion, what's important to you, and without you triggering things like the roast beef, shame. Right? We don't share who we are because there's some shame around this. So I want you today to go write down at least 10 things you're really proud of, 10 things that you've done, 10 things that you've got your initials, like at least 10 things that you can feel solid in sharing with people. Love to see you reach out and share them with me. Tag me on Instagram, reach out wherever you're watching this and whenever you're watching this or whenever you're listening to this, because this is going to go up on Lead a Life Uncommon podcast, because I'm here to support you in leading a life uncommon. I'll talk to you soon.